The Divine Image by William Blake. To mercy, pity, peace, and love, all pray in their distress, and to these virtues of delight return their thankfulness. The first stanza of the Divine Image presents four virtues: mercy, pity, peace, and love. And as you can notice that the first letter of mercy, pity, peace, and love is capital letter. So you know what is the literary device here? Yes, personification. So these four virtues are capitalized as they are personified. So mercy, pity, peace, and love, example of personification. Now this personification reflects the relationship between divinity and humanity. It means there is a relationship between the human beings and the divine God, because they share the same four qualities. Moreover, these virtues become objects of prayer in case of distress and should be cherished and praised. So whenever we are in distress, any trouble or problem, we pray to the God, and God is a fine example of mercy, pity, peace, and love. So we are praying to the God. So we pray to all these qualities. Now all to these virtues of delight return their thankfulness, and when our wishes are granted, when we are out of our trouble, we thank the God. Okay, and thanking the God means the qualities of the God, the quality of mercy, the quality of pity, the quality of peace, and the quality of love. See the simple language here. Throughout the poem, we'll see the simple language. The language is so easy to understand, and this is one quality of this poem. Please keep in your mind. The language of the poem is very simple, number one. Number two, the God is connected here to the human beings by the poet, and through what medium? The four qualities of the God: mercy, pity, peace, and love, also given to the human stanza. For mercy, pity, peace, and love is God our Father dear, and mercy, pity, peace, and love is man his child and care. You just see, the poet is calling the God the Father, the human beings the child. Okay, and see, the poet is repeating the same qualities, four qualities before the God and the four qualities before the man. It means the poet is trying to establish a fact that these four godly attributes, qualities are in the man also. Okay, so the second stanza links the virtues to God and to man, means the virtues of the God, the four virtues, mercy, pity, peace, and love, to the man. The lyrical voice reference means the poet, what the poet is doing here? The poet is directly relating the four qualities to the man. And see the establishment here, that the poet is repeating the virtues two times, once before the God and the other time before the man, and in a very strong voice he is making a relationship between the God and man. Okay, and he is saying that the human beings are attributed with the godly, the heavenly, the divine qualities. So see the language here again, very easy. And what literary device is used here? Repetition. Because in the line number 1, for mercy, pity, peace, and love, this is again in line number 3. And mercy, pity, peace and love. This is an example of repetition. Note down all these literary devices. Also, it will help you to write a critical appreciation of the poem. As I told you earlier, that critical summary of On Time, that whenever you are writing the critical appreciation of any poem, write a summary as well as the technique and the structure and the literary device used. 3. The Divine Image by William Blake. For mercy has a human heart, pity a human face, and love the human form divine, and peace the human dress. You can easily understand now what effort the poet is doing. The poet is attributing all these qualities to the human being, the heavenly, the godly qualities to the human being. Okay, so in this stanza, the poet focuses on describing each of the virtues, okay, and how they relate to mankind. Yes, these are the virtues of the God, but how they are related to the mankind also, we human being also. These virtues were first mentioned in the stanza 1, that to mercy, pity, peace and love all pray in their distress. That time it was the virtues of the God. We pray to the God and we thank the God. Now the same virtues are in the human being also, and in what shape, in what form the poet is trying to tell us. That mercy has a human heart. This is one quality. Pity, a human face. Love, the human form divine. If you shower the love on others, you are using a divine quality. And peace, the human dress. When you are peaceful, calm, it shows on your body. Okay? Now, this is an effort here now to tell the human being that we share the qualities, the virtues of the God, but we need to show that also. And now here again we see the repetition of one more word. See, in each line the poet is using the word human. See, for mercy has a human heart, pity a human face, and love the human form divine, and peace the human dress. So this is one more example of literary device, repetition. Keep note down all now these stanza things. 4. Then every man of every clime that prays in his distress, prays to the human form divine, love, mercy, pity, peace. See now, you can understand what the poet is trying to say, that every man of every clime, clime here means climate, okay, geographical area. Anybody living in any country or any land prays in the distress, in the trouble, and to whom? To the God. But these qualities are available in the human beings also. So praise to the human form divine. And what are the qualities shared by the God, shared by the man with the God? Love, mercy, pity and peace. So in this stanza, the poet is trying to establish a link between the heavenly virtues and humanity. And the poet is saying that these virtues are available in every man of every climate. And when they pray to the God, it means they are asking for the qualities, mercy, pity, peace and love from the God. So we see here again the poet is trying to tell the human being that we have some of the qualities, divine qualities, and we need to realize that. We need to practice that to make our life a really beautiful life. We need to devote ourselves to the prayers of the fifth stanza of the poem. And all must love the human form, in heathen, Turk or Jew, where mercy, love, and pity dwell, there God is dwelling too. This word heathen means atheist, Atheist. Atheist means the non-believer who does not believe in the existence of the God. So the poet is saying, obviously you can understand that we must love human being in all form. Either he's a non-believer, he's a Turk, or he's a Jew. Means he follows any religion or he does not follow any religion. We have to show our love to him, because these qualities are the heavenly qualities. So in the final stanza of the poem, The Divine Image, the poet says that how all forms of humanity should be cherished, enjoyed, valued. The poet says that all must love the human form, and this human form can be in heathen, Turk, or Jew. Means all form of human beings should be loved. Now this is because all forms of humanity are linked to divinity, the God. We are all are linked to the God, whether we believe in the God or not believe in the God, or whether we follow any religion. And consequently, they all are important. All form of the human beings are related to the God. It means all human beings are important. Finally, the poet says that three of these virtues, mercy, love, and pity, coexist with God together. Means this is God itself, these three qualities at least. See the last lines, where mercy, love, and pity dwell, there God is dwelling too. So if you are showering these three qualities, you have become integral with the God. You have the real blessings of the God on you. So these qualities on all the human beings. Now this idea of the last two lines, where mercy, love, and pity dwell, there God is dwelling too, this highlights the idea of inseparability between God and man, presented in all the previous stanzas also, that we have some qualities which are the part of the God also. And in our Indian culture, we know, you all know, that we all believe in this idea that God is everywhere. Okay, so in this poem also, the poet is trying to establish the same fact, that we need to value ourselves because we have some of the qualities of the God of the heaven also.